Hello, everyone. I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our next matchup for UFC Rio in our featured prelim. We got Jafel Filho taking on Clayton Carpenter. Filho is 16-4 as a professional, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, while Carpenter is 8-1 as a professional, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. So looking at Filho, he's 2-2 right now in the UFC, where he got submitted by Mohamed Mokaev, but before he did, he absolutely shredded his knee. I'm still shocked he didn't tap from that knee bar. Then he got 2 wins, both by finish, against Daniel Barres and Ode Osborne. Then most recently in May, he lost a decision to Alan Nascimento. Meanwhile, Carpenter, he was once undefeated. He suffered his first loss June of this year when he took on Tagir Ulanbekov. But before that, he had 2 wins in the UFC, both submissions. One was to Lucas Rocha, who's also on this card. And, oh God, forgive me for trying to pronounce this monster name. June, I apologize. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the name without actually hearing it, because I do not want to butcher it bad and sound, frankly, stupid. But basically, he does have 2 wins in the UFC, both by rear naked choke. Now, looking at these two, they're actually kind of cut from the same cloth. Both are more or less well-rounded. I would say Filho is better overall with his submissions and grappling attack, while Carpenter, while he has some good wrestling and, frankly, good jiu-jitsu, I'd say he's pretty good on the feet as well. I think he's better on the feet overall than against Filho, as he has displayed good boxing, good overall head movement, and just better footwork. Now, breaking down their styles one to each other, Filho has definitely improved recently throughout his UFC tenure. At first, it was a kind of a BJJ guy, not good wrestling or kind of mediocre wrestling, where it's mostly shoot for the hips, get to a single leg, and then if Filho sensed the sprawl, he pull guard. Now he's starting to actually implement better wrestling, better double legs, better single legs. His best techniques are still trips and throws in the clinch, but he's also kind of melded that with more or less better Brazilian Muay Thai. He's kind of if I remember, he's an Uvinhao prodigy, so their Muay Thai is very good, especially their leg kicks. And being able to mix that in with his jiu-jitsu, which is very impressive jiu-jitsu, says a lot of the well-roundedness of Filho. And I think overall he's got a really good game for flyweight. Now, of course, losses to Mohamed Mokaev and Alan Nascimento show if there are better grapplers in the flyweight division, they are going to beat Filho. But at the same time, he nearly had Mokaev in that knee bar. I still don't know how he didn't tap. Same with Alan Nascimento, where he had him in that tight mounted guillotine where it looked like his head was just going to pop off like a Pez dispenser. But eventually, both of them were able to beat Nascimento by surviving his submission attempts, kind of outlasting him in the cardio department. And then for Mokaev, he submitted him via, I think it was neck crank. And while Nascimento beat him with position over submission. In general, just had more control time. For Clayton Carpenter, I think he put on a great showing against Tagir Ulanbekov. He did lose, clearly. But for the type of a challenge he was assigned to, he had a good account of himself. That's the word. He had good striking moments, good moments in the grappling department, good in the wrestling department. And again, against a giant like Tagir, who looks like a bantamweight in there, it was impressive what he was able to do. Now, when he fights other opponents so far, or at least one who are not of the skill of Tagir Ulanbekov, or so far a fighter in the rankings, Clayton Carpenter seems to be a level above. He's shown good poise, very good at deciding when to mix in the striking and grappling, like against Lucas Rocha, who primarily wins fights on the feet. Carpenter switched it up to grappling and was able to get the back and then the rear naked choke. So he's pretty good at adjusting mid-fight. Now, granted, that was a round, but still. I think this comes down to who can dictate where the fight takes place. because I think Filho and Carpenter kind of cancel each other out in the grappling. Now, I think Filho might be a bit more skilled and might be better of the submission hunter, or at least has more submissions that he can pull in comparison to Carpenter. But I think Carpenter cancels that out as well by having the stronger base and thus better takedown defense. Filho has clearly shown better wrestling, but I still think Carpenter, who is going to be stronger than him and overall, I think, a better athlete, will kind of be able to stuff the takedowns. And then from the striking, I think Carpenter is a better striker than Filho. Overall, when I look at this fight, I honestly think this is like my sleeper of the card. It's like one of those fights where you look at it, like first glance, it doesn't like blow off the page. But when you really think about their skills and how they fight and thinking, oh man, this has some real potential in it. I wouldn't sleep on this fight, literally. So I do think this is my sleeper of the card. But for my official prediction, I got to go with Clayton Carpenter. I just think, as I said, whoever can dictate where the fight takes place wins it. And where Filho, while he had some striking to him, most of his victories come through his grappling and submission game. And I just think with Carpenter having better takedown defense, overall better striking, and being just the superior athlete, I think he's going to be able to dictate when this goes to the ground, be able to deny Filho his takedowns, and overall just kind of pick him apart at the feet. I can see a finish, but I also think Filho is pretty tough, so I can see this going the distance. Odds-wise, it started off as a pick'em, both for -110. Odds have shifted ever so slightly, with Carpenter being a -115, while Filho is +100. It's still essentially a pick'em. And for rightfully so, I think these two are roughly around the same skill level. Now, Filho is a little older at 32 in comparison to Carpenter, who is 29. But Filho has a lot more fights, while Carpenter came into MMA a little late. Physical specs-wise, Filho is going to be bigger by about an inch at 5'7", and a slightly longer reach with 68.5, while Carpenter's 5'6", with a 66-inch reach. Overall, I still think Clayton Carpenter will win, just because I think he's going to be able to dictate where this fight goes. So I am officially predicting Clayton Carpenter, and I think he can get the decision. But with that being said, that's been my prediction for this matchup. Next up, we'll have our main card opener with Lucas Almeida taking on Michael Aswell. But until then, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. Thank you all for listening. Take care.